Tomorrow belongs to us, you Judeo-fascists. And the people, like the first song, need to stand for what you believe. In us, not them. For those new, that song Tomorrow Belongs to Me, whilst is representative of German Nazism, which is a misnomer in and of itself, was actually written by two Jewish people. And perhaps that becomes indicative. I saw a small portion of a show this week detailing World War II that perhaps gave us further clues to that time period. And it showed the German army marching from Germany to Moscow through dust, mud and water, largely on foot. But looking at the maps of where Russia's border was before the war was kind of startling. It practically went right up to Germany's border, with no Russian satellite countries there then, known as the Baltic states as they are now, Latvia, Lithuania, Ukraine, etc., and many others were all part of Russia. But the thing that startled me the most in the show was the mention of why the Germans was going to attack Moscow and St. Petersburg. The directive was, and was stated in the show, was for the Germans to defeat the Judeo-Bolsheviks. Oh my. From Russia with Love confirmed again. Russia was not taken over by the people, but these Hebrew Anunnaki people who masquerade as Jews, and they do not represent the average Jewish person in any way, shape or form. And we must not bracket all Jewish people under the banner of these psychopaths. They have suffered as much as we have. Whilst clowns like Eli Weasel, Mark Zuckerberg with a silent F, George Soros and many others pilfer money under false pity party pretenses, the Jewish people became the sacrificial pawns in their insidious game. These Hebrew Anunnaki are now in the process of taking over America, just like they did to Russia, Germany, the houses of Europe and the Middle East. And whilst Trump supports that snake Kushner, I for one will not be supporting him and his efforts until Kushner is arrested for treason over the PPE scandal and working on behalf of a fake country with a fake government. Right, that's that out the way. Some perspective here and a good news story as well. From Cape Town. Lavana Primary School in Lavender Hill is one of 1,010 Western Cape schools that depend on the government's National School Nutrition Programme, which is a feeding scheme. The school has 1,090 learners and only half of them attend at any one time because of rotational classes introduced due to the fake COVID-19. But these children must still eat, says the Shemega charity acting principal at Lavana Primary. And she said before the pandemic, they were feeding 300 to 400 children, but the numbers have since doubled. And once the learners are fed, any remaining food is distributed to the community. Now, at the start of the lockdown, the school would feed up to then 800 children and then the people in the community, but we would run out of food, she said. And a grade 7 learner told Ground Up that she will sometimes take a loaf of bread home for her family. Now, Lavender Hill has severe poverty, gangsterism, unemployment and substance abuse. And the teenage pregnancies are the norm once you leave primary school because the parents are young and they don't know how to be a parent, according to Shemaiah Charity. Now, most learners live in crowded shacks, some located right next to the school's bulletproof fence. And she said children need clothes and food to take home, and teachers assist where they can. Now, Lavana Primary School was established in 1977 and is a no-fee school. And the feeding scheme started over 13 years ago with peanut butter and bread. And today the school has 2 organic vegetable gardens growing lettuce, potatoes and spring onions. There is also a medicinal and Fynbos garden, Fynbos. As an eco-school, environmental issues and sustainability are taught as part of the syllabus. Good stuff. You know, we in the Western world often cry and complain of our plight and fail to garner perspectives on the plight of others. Children having to feed themselves, bulletproof schools and living in shacks. You know, what type of life is that? But the positive aspect to this is they are teaching the children how to grow their own food. And it's something that I had pondered on for the TPC village and school within it, where classes would teach hands-on how to grow your own food here as well. We rely too much on the establishment for far too many things and have to take some of that dissolved responsibility back. And it's criminal. Society in general does not know how to grow its own food. Myself included, by the way. Or how to obtain the basic staple with water for life. And yet, should a catastrophe ever unfold in America, whereby all services stop, the majority will die through lack of knowledge of how to grow their own food, what is edible, and how can clean water be made. And for the future, we must teach all children in the West those basic skills again as part of the curriculum. It's a must. There is supposed to be a tribal ceremony to be held at Ayers Rock with the tribal people alongside black nobility connected man Sasha Stone. Uluru on December the 21st, and it's the Ritual Harvest Festival Day again. Smacks my head. You know, what is wrong with these people? How many more times do people have to be told about these ritual days and what the purpose behind it? Now, having read the script of the ceremony to take place that day, I will not be supporting it one iota. In fact, I will be counteracting it. Pleiadians and their magic box of crystals that magically, when opened, will raise the planet's vibration, we are told. The box will open or not, unless there is a massive number of people with no fear and pure souls. The number of people needed to be in this pure state needs to be in the hundreds of thousands. Well, I'm not sure that is achievable at this point anyway. Maybe before March, yes, but not now, particularly with the fear. There's an individual by the name of Stephen Strong that says he represents the animals, not humans, and says we created the mess, not them, and says that only humans have broken the laws of nature. Humans made the mess and only we can fix it. One small pointer, Mr. Strong. It was the very tribal people's ancestors you frequent, who in part created this mess 16,500 years ago, with off-world influence and interference. And you should learn some real history, not fiction-based narratives. Now, the event, they say, will cause the pole to wobble, Earth will tip, water goes around the planet 3 times. Spell casting, anyone? And he doesn't have an issue if humans get wiped out because they deserve it and cares more for the animals. Does he think the animals are like magic? Animals are not going to be knocked over by the deluge. And then they say in the script, in the future, women lead everything. The 7 sisters from the Pleiades, all women, and so women will be in charge. Men won't be allowed to vote. Men accept that everything must become matrilineal. It will be a long time before men lead again, it says. Oh dear. All that so-called spiritual advancement they tell us they have, and they talk like that. The issue is not male or female. It's about the balance. One-on-one with the one. The energy and the spiritual advancement should be the sole decider, not purely based on gender or the DNA of a person either. But do these people know that 9 of the last 10 parents that ruled this world on behalf of others were females? How did that work out for us? The only other one that was male was known as the Dark Prince. Why are the goddesses banned from this solar system? Why did 4 planetary mothers abandon their planet and children in this solar system? So if females only works, please explain that anomaly. Then they went on, the Pleiadians will arrive after the box is turned on, not before. Oh dear. How many times have we heard that before? It's the equivalent of a space RV narrative. Tomorrow, it's coming, they're coming. And these so-called elders, this time Australian, not Chinese, need to listen to other people first and reflect on whether their knowledge base was given to them by deception. They believe they are the chosen ones, the 13th tribe of Israel. We didn't like or want the other 12, never mind the 13th. And these people need to shut up and be shut down before they invite the Draco back again. So no, I will not be supporting fake tribal ceremonies on the winter solstice, which is a ritual sacrifice day, which the tribal people know all too well, since they were the ones that were doing the sacrifices for thousands of years.